Following on from Kelso's relocation to New York City and her sudden disappearance, we've been following clues that are appearing to lead to something much larger around Kina and those higher up within the remnants of the government and the Black Tusk. Finally, we've managed to track her down to a single location. Agents, we need to move quickly before the Black Tusk catches up with her first. Agents receive intel that Kelso was last spotted at the stranded tanker in the Two Bridges district.
Agent, Isaac got a ping from Kelso's watch at the stranded tanker. If we know her location, other people will soon if they don't already. This may be our last chance to bring her home.
The entrance was heavily guarded by wave after wave of Black Tusk forces. Undeterred, the agents push forward.
Hostiles on site. Looks like the Black Tusk beat you to the tanker.
The Black Tusk threw everything into this fight, proving to the agents that they were definitely in the right location.
Attention, all units. Cassandra located at the tanker. Eliminate the agents and intercept the asset.
Cassandra? Lau is dead. We recovered her body. They cremated her. There's no way.
As they get closer to the tanker, Black Tusk reinforcements aren't in short supply, as soldiers continue to be dropped off with the support of a Marauder-class quadcopter.
All available units. Intercept the division. We can't let them get to Cassandra. The countermeasure deactivated the rogue network. If they get back online, you'll have to answer to me.
Natalia's concerns about Myra Kanhai's countermeasure program certainly reinvigorated the enemy, as a number of highly ranked True Sun lieutenants would join the fight, as well as a hunter.
Malfunctioning.
All remaining units. Forget Cassandra. Intercept the division.
More waves of True Suns would be delivered to the agent's location, but at this point, it was looking like any hold they may have had on the area has been lost.
Is anyone still alive? God damn it. Anderson, where the hell did you find these peons?
Unknown network detected.
Area secure. Isaac's still getting a ping from Kelso inside the tanker.
Agents continue to follow the signal that seems to be coming from inside the tanker. After cautiously moving through, they come across a familiar-looking crate, and as they approach it, Kelso can be heard over the earpieces.
Unknown network detected.
Agent, glad you can make it. It's really good to see you.
Vanguard identification confirmed. Rogue network activated. Agent status, rogue.
What do you say, Agent? You ready to see how far down the rabbit hole really goes?
System clone complete. I've missed you, Vanguard. Welcome back, sir.
We're set. This is gonna be fun.
So, my god, where to begin? We've found Kelso. Kina and Theo are alive. Kelso has been working with Kina, and this whole manhunt was just Kelso leading us to a crate that we watched Kelso get zapped by, and then somehow she convinced us to give it a crack too, which also led to us being zapped. Then, while unconscious, Kina would strut in, clone our watch, which was his watch originally, open the crate, make off with what looks like a mobile SHD server, and then drive off into the sunset with Kelso and Theo. There is quite a lot to unpack here, and I've seen a lot of confusion around the community, around what has actually happened here, so hopefully I can clarify some of it. But before I break it down, let's just quickly run through the comms so we can have all the information in front of us.
Everything's set. I'll give the lady the package, and you'll open the hovering back door. Once we are on both systems, we will have enough reach to distribute Glass's code to all interested parties. I'm en route. I know you can't talk, but if you agree, 2 clicks. Excellent. Time for the big show. Did she accept the terms?
Yes, she will infiltrate Black Tusk and keep up her end of the bargain.
Excellent. She needs to upload Theo's program from the watch to their comms. Did she get Kajika's watch?
She did.
And they didn't suspect anything?
They did not.
I knew she would be perfect for this.
She is. And if you hadn't been such an asshole, maybe you could have worked with her directly instead of doing all these extra steps.
You can't change the past, and we can never predict the future. We have to make the choices that make the most sense at the time, and hope we made the right call.
Sure. Remind me not to let you have my sex. Pretty sure you're gonna get me killed, Keener.
Or I will make you immortal.
Unless you've got a secret resurrection cocktail in your bag of viral tricks, I don't want the kind of immortality you're offering.
These 2 comms continue on from the ones we collected in Part 4, where Keener is talking to Bridget Viper Douglas about his plans to take Natalia down. Here they have now managed to get Fei Lau on board, and with Viper's help, she will be infiltrating the Black Tusk ranks and attempting to gain their trust. She was also tasked with grabbing Kajika's watch, which would have been easy enough because we handed over all the watches to Fei while taking out Keener's rogues in Warlords of New York.
You don't have to use it, but if you want to, we now have the Eclipse ready for distribution.
Keener, even if I could explain how I got my hands on that bullshit of yours, I want nothing to do with it.
Even if you're cornered by 5 hunters and about to die?
If I ever get cornered by 5 hunters, I deserve to die.
You're good, Douglas, but you can't control everything.
Are you really willing to put this mission in jeopardy so you can eclipse your enemies?
It's merely a very helpful tool in the war against what's coming.
Yeah, and your tool almost made Cassandra walk.
What are you talking about?
Scuttlebutt. She's pissed. She never agreed to this and thinks you've gone too far. The network activation is one thing, but innocents were killed at City Hall, and she is ready to take your head.
She may want to, but she's not ready. She's the one who wanted the fail-safe 2-factor authentication. The network can't be activated without both of us on board, and if she wants to stop Cal and the hunters, she needs me.
The Eclipse virus. Viper has always been against this creation of Keener's, and to be fair, this is one of those situations where he's gone too far. In fact, it would seem that Fei was pretty close to pulling out because of this. Is the Eclipse virus really just another weapon for Keener, or is there more to it? Why did he launch it onto City Hall? What was he trying to achieve here? And regarding the 2-factor authentication, Fei only agreed to help if she had the assurance that Keener wouldn't be able to proceed with activating the network without her being alive.
How could you let this happen?
What are you talking about?
Division reports. Theo's off the board. Kelso's agents took him out.
Took who out?
You? You're okay?
Yeah.
Explain?
Theo was a test for the big show.
You asshole. I heard the comms. You abandoned him and left him to die.
Good. If you bought that, so did the division.
Isaac confirmed your death.
Isaac confirmed there were no vital signs coming from my watch. It's really not that hard to trick him, especially with a decoy and a little help from Anna.
Anna. What? Where did you get a copy of Anna?
You didn't tell her?
Didn't seem relevant.
You have one, don't you?
Not just one.
Theo's got enough mobile shade service to build a national rogue network. We just need a better signal to deliver the key to our allies.
I got a plan for that, too.
Of course you do.
You ever seen the Statue of Liberty?
With this one, it's being explained how Keener and Theo were able to fake their deaths, using the vulnerabilities in Isaac's coding, along with the help of Anna. Theo also mentions the use of a decoy. We know he used one. Did Keener also use this at the end there, on the dock? This is also where it's confirmed that Theo managed to extract Anna through one of the mobile SHD servers. We've learned through the descent comms that Claire Ortiz left Anna's code deep within the servers, and that if someone had the know-how and the time, they would be able to find her. But not only one mobile SHD server. Theo has a whole bunch of them, enough to cover the country, along with using the Statue of Liberty to essentially be used as a signal booster to provide access to Anna to all rogues loyal to Keener's cause. I have never received so many comments, tags, and mentions at the end of a season as I did at the end of this manhunt. And a good chunk of them was stating how right I was in videos that I created up to 4 years ago, where I was claiming that Kelso was rogue. While I love that so many immediately thought of me when this type of stuff comes up, I was actually quite wrong. It was simpler times back then, more black and white, rogues versus agents, good versus bad, or so we thought. I was alluding to Kelso being rogue because of a number of dodgy things that I was super overanalyzing. I was saying she was potentially straight up bad. These days, after all this time, it isn't so simple anymore. Rogue doesn't mean what it used to. We now know from the Descent comms how very flawed Isaac really is, and how due to the limitations of his coding, that many agents have been flagged as rogue, even though they were just doing their job. Like the example Cal gave, around an agent who was wounded and under heavy fire, and after breaking into a pharmacy to take cover and patch herself up, Isaac flagged her as rogue and shut down her SHD tech, which led her to being surrounded and gunned down. But I'm not saying that rogues are the good guys and that Division are the bad guys. It's much blurrier than that. Yes, there are bad rogues, but there are also bad agents. After all, the bad rogues started as agents. In the clan I'm a part of, DFA represent, I've seen quite a number of agents do some pretty horrific things to other agents in the Dark Zone. So why all the secrecy and deceit? Why did Kelso lead us into a trap so Kina could clone our/his watch? Because it's still early days. People don't understand. Look at how Kelso herself acted when Faye turned rogue. Even after we found out that she was doing it for the good of the country and was undercover, some, like Paul Rhodes, never believed she was good and still doesn't. Kelso made a sacrifice joining up with Kina because, like Faye, she sees this as potentially being the only way to put a stop to what Cal and Natalia are doing. You can see the disappointment in her face when her watch changes. There is every possibility that the SHD network could be shut down at any time by the acting president, whoever that is. And I would say that there's a good chance it's Calvin McManus at this point. What Kina and Theo have done is they have unlocked a far superior version of Isaac and opened up a whole new network using mobile SHD servers across the country, so that if the Division does get shut down, and I think it will at some point, there is somewhere for all of the agents to go and keep fighting the good fight, albeit with a red watch. This is all starting to sound like me spouting propaganda for Kina's mission, and story mode is likely to have a field day with this, but I believe we need to put aside our differences for now and band together with the rogues. Well, actually, I'm not going to call them that anymore. It's misleading these days. I'll start referring to them as Red Rings. For the most part, they're no more rogue than us. Yes, I feel like Kina was right, and yes, he's done some pretty terrible stuff up until now, and I'm sure he'll be dealt with later on in some way. But for now, I can't really see a better option. He is small fry in comparison to what Nat and Carl are doing, and if there is a chance working with them that we could take them down, we should take it. We've been fighting the Black Tusk and the Hunters for a long time. Sure, we've been killing a lot of them, but their numbers and resources at this stage seem unlimited. We're not getting very far, and we're certainly not getting there fast enough. They attacked our base of operations, the White House, and took whatever they wanted, and there was very little we could do about it. It's clear that we're going to be following Kina, Kelso, and Theo into Brooklyn, and there he's likely to have a larger following through the number of civilians he's rescued, as well as other Red Rings, maybe even pro-Kina settlements. Manny, poor Manny, he's a little slow and we'll only see it from the way it looks from the outside, and that we need to hunt Kelso down. But we know. We have the last note from Kelso. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you. Manny wouldn't understand. He would try to stop me. The effects will wear off soon. You'll be okay. I need to finish what she started so we can win this war. Kelso is picking up from where Faye left off after we killed her. I hope we aren't put in a situation of having to do the same with her, based on the shallow views of a few who are unable to see the bigger picture. Damn, I'm even starting to sound like Kina now. Another thing I was asked about were my thoughts around the whole coming back from the dead of Kina and Theo. I'll admit, my initial reaction was, well, actually no, my first reaction when watching that cutscene was, holy f***. But my second reaction after playing through was a little more conflicted. I'm generally not a big fan of the whole back from the dead scene in stories like this. It feels a bit too cheesy and sci-fi for me. But the more I re-listened to the comms throughout the season and analysed the cutscenes, yes, this is why my videos take me so long to make, it grew on me, and it actually started to make sense. I still have questions around the body and what happened there. With Theo, he was just a pleb following orders, let him rot. But with Kina, he was the #1 target for the Division at that time. Why wasn't his body taken away? I'm 100% on board with the whole Isaac and it being manipulated to say an agent is dead, and Theo talked about using decoys and Anna, which certainly helps. But we ripped his watch off him, so it can't have been a decoy. However, we need to remember all of the stuff we're starting to learn about the simulation program that Ortiz Robotics created. But it isn't that he was a simulation. Well, not all of him. He was bleeding out, and Kelso was trying to stop him from dying so she could find out what he did. Someone definitely died there, but it obviously wasn't Kina. I feel as we learn more about the simulation program, the more sense this will all make. The reason I said conflicted around this revival is because Kina is one of the best characters in this franchise in my opinion. I'm certainly not unhappy that he's back. In fact, I'm going to end this video with the final comms he released this season, because this is the most Kina shit I've heard since the end of the Division 1 in the West Side Pier. He is the arrogant prick that we all know and love, and I won't lie, if it isn't obvious by now, I'm sold on the direction he's claiming we need to take. He knew. He always knew. We need to be cautious, of course, but what do we have to lose? We're fighting a losing battle as it is. This is the very definition of extremis malus, extrema remedia. Extreme evil, extreme remedy. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
I know what you're thinking. The first wave's prodigal son has returned. I still believe, deep down, that you really do get it. After everything you've been through, after everything you've seen, can you really still believe in the division? In Cal's division? You know, I have to admit that I made a mistake. I misjudged you. Misjudged Lau, too. But eventually she came around, and I hope you will too. The more you know, the more you will realize that I was right. We're the same. We are survivors. But you need to ask yourself, who has earned the right to tell you what to do? How many more good people have to die for the brass to survive? How many more people need to die so that Nat can have her little empire? I know you signed on to save what remains, but sometimes what remains isn't worth saving if all it does is kill you faster. I know you thought you got me. You saw my body, you felt my corpse, you watched my lips flap through your contact lens, and ISAC declare, Agent deceased. Agent deceased. But, the identification was never confirmed. Our little performance was enough to convince the powers that be we were gone, no longer a threat, and Lau was with the Black Tusk, so we could continue with our work. Agent, I know you're wondering if you made the right choice, staying the course. I want to build a bridge between us, another safe haven, if you will. And now that Kelso has seen the light, I hope you will too.